Hi, I'm Caroline Choi. I'm a lawyer and I created a free resource website for those struggling with divorce in Hong Kong. This is why you should listen to me.
Can you let us know a little bit about Hong Kong divorce? What is this website about and why is it so special?
So basically, it's a free resource website that provides information on issues related to divorce. So it allows people to come to the website and look at these issues that are related to divorce, but then also have it broken down in easy to understand terms.
What do you mean, like easy to understand terms? A lot of things you mean the jargons and like terms that legal terms people don't understand, and they go to you. They have a better like a glossary or something.
Yes, so there's a glossary on the website, but what I have done or what I've tried to do is just break down complex legal issues into easy to understand terms so that when people are reading it, they can say, oh, I actually understand what's happening in my divorce, versus sometimes when they go to other websites, it might be really difficult for them to understand because there's such legal jargon and the process is actually quite complex.
When you say yours is a little bit different, but when I search online, I found quite a lot of different websites. You know, they provide a lot of information. Why is it you're a little bit different? Is it because you have like a other resource platforms to go to, like psychological backup and all those things?
Yeah, so what I do with this website is I provide information on divorce, but then I kind of broaden it out to all issues related to divorce, and that doesn't necessarily just mean the legal aspect, but I do things like spotlight profiles on mental health professionals who can give information about how to navigate divorce if you're going through an emotional, difficult time. And so this website is kind of like a one-stop shop where you're getting the information on how to navigate divorce in Hong Kong, but then also there's other aspects to it, like how are you supposed to move on after a divorce, and what are we supposed to say when we talk to our children about divorce. So there are things like that that's on the website that people can refer to.
So you have emotional, psychological, social, because when you divorce, you lose your friends because you have shared friends as well. So all those different areas of support, like social, emotional, psychological, maybe financial too, because you might lose that. The person, if the wife is divorcing, it could be losing the financial support, alimony, visitation, custody, division of assets, all those things. So your one-stop shop website can provide all those backup for all different areas that people need to know.
And one of the things that I try to do is I do a lot of spotlight profiles where I speak to different people in the industry, in the family law industry, and that's not necessarily just solicitors, but also barristers, mediators, mental health professionals, so people can get an idea of who they should contact. And when I do these spotlight profiles, I ask these specific individuals, can you give tips on how to move forward in a divorce? What are the things that we should be asking if we're going into a mediation, for example? And what role does a barrister have in your case? So all of these experts can provide their tips to readers on how to navigate through the divorce process.
Do you think it's relatively easy to get a divorce in Hong Kong?
I think it depends on how well you get along with your ex. I think it depends on how willing you are to compromise, because there's a lot of that in divorce. It just depends on how difficult you want to make it. And I know that some people have a difficult time because their ex is not cooperative, and so there is that understanding about that. But again, there's articles on our website where we talk about what do you do when you come across a very difficult ex-spouse? What are some tips to help you come to collaboration and to mediation and dealing with issues related to children?
I know of a friend, she was getting a divorce, and then originally she was quoted a price like 10,000 Hong Kong dollars. And of course she said, okay, I'll go ahead with that. And after like 6 months, it went up to $120,000. This is like 20 years ago. So is with the financial aspect quite a big question for most people seeking a divorce?
Definitely. I think that when you go through a divorce, that's probably one of the big questions that people ask is, how much is it going to cost me? Obviously, if you go through the divorce process and you're not legally represented, it's going to be a lot cheaper. But at the same time, if you're going to go through a divorce and you use professionals, then that's something that you should always keep in mind is the cost. And to always be aware of what the cost is. And that can easily be done by asking your solicitor or through your solicitor asking the barristers, how much is this going to cost me? And they should be able to give you kind of an idea each step of the way.
If the divorce is not contested, just a straightforward separation with no kids, no argument over division of assets, basically no alimony involved, would it be like, easy for somebody to be able to go through the process by themselves, no need to go through a lawyer? Will your website give information on that, like a navigational guide to say, how do you do it yourself and save all the money? Just pay for the petition application, which is only a few $100 Hong Kong.
Well, I think you can choose to go at it on your own and basically filing the papers on your own, but it's always, even on our website, we always say speak to a solicitor, because if there are certain things that you might not ask yourself or know to ask when you're filling out these papers. So even if you decide that you don't want to have a solicitor, it might be a good idea to at least have a consultation with a solicitor and ask some certain questions, especially even how to fill out the papers, because you want to be able to fill out the papers correctly from the get-go rather than having to backtrack, lose time, and then having to refile again. Okay, now I have this idea that supposedly I want to get a divorce, so I need some information. I sit in front of my computer. What should I do? I go to the website, and how should I navigate through the website? I think the first thing to do would be to look at our glossary, because their glossary will provide you with a breakdown of the terms in a divorce, and then start from the beginning is what is a divorce in Hong Kong, and there's articles that go from the very beginning to all the issues that you might come across related to finances or the children. And then if you look at our website, we have articles that go from there and then into the emotional aspects of a divorce, and how do you even speak to your ex-spouse about the divorce. So things like that, you can go through every step of the way, and our website provides articles and spotlight profiles with experts so that you can kind of go to one spot, get the information that you need, and then when you do speak to a solicitor, you're at least not in the dark as to what's happening. Because when you first go to a solicitor and you have no idea about divorce, I think it puts you a little bit at a disadvantage, because when you go there with the knowledge and the information, then you can say, I have these questions, and these are the questions that I need to ask you.
What are the most common questions people ask, they seek answers?
I think most people are interested in finances and children. So first of all, they'll ask, how much does a divorce cost? And then also, how are things divided up in Hong Kong? And then also just what does it mean for the children? Because a lot of people, they're concerned about what happens with their children and how they're gonna divide the time with the children, who gets custody and things like that. So those are very important questions that people ask. Obviously, our website is not providing legal advice. All we do is provide a free resource for people to get information. So if you were to get specific legal advice, you would need to obviously ask your solicitor.
If I know you cannot give legal advice because of your status in Hong Kong being a foreign registered foreign lawyer, but if somebody come to you, like I'm a friend, come to you, I said, Caroline, I'm thinking about getting a divorce, what would you tell me then as a friend?
I'd probably just ask you, are you sure? Do you want to get a divorce? And then I would think about, okay, well, tell me the reasons why you want to get a divorce. What's happening in your life that would kind of bring you to that decision. Obviously, the first thing that I would say is take your time before you make this decision, because it is a big decision, and divorce to a lot of people is like a death in the family. So I think you have to think of every aspect of what a divorce would entail, not only financially, but also what happens with your children, where you're going to live, especially in Hong Kong where there's so many expats. And what does it mean for your life going forward? Can you emotionally handle going through a divorce? Is it going to make you happier? These are the questions that I would ask my friend.
You also have in English, in Simplified and Traditional Chinese. I just want to ask, would that which language is more commonly used?
On the website?
On the websites, yeah.
It would definitely be English.
Okay.
That's just kind of how we started. And it's always been our goal to kind of get everything translated over, so we've been slowly doing that as well.
Thank you, Caroline. It's very hopeful for a lot of people. You never know, anybody might need information, and you provide that access to information free of charge. Thank you so much for coming and joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.